Have you ever heard yourself saying, when this happens, and fill in the blank, when I have enough money, when the person in my life changes, when I move, when I get the job, when I get healthy, then I can stop worrying. I can't tell you how many times I'll hear that from people, especially, I work with people on their vision. And people will talk about, and so I have the job and I no longer have to worry about my job, or I have my soulmate in my life and I no longer have to worry about being loved, or I have the money in my checking account and I no longer have to worry about money. Well, today I want to show you how to stop worrying. Before anything in your world changes, you have the ability to stop worrying now. So if you like what you're hearing, drop some hearts, thumbs up. Of course, share this with anybody else that you know may worry. And if you want to go deeper into this process, deeper into this formula, then put the word transform in the comment section, because we will then get information to you about my free upcoming masterclass to help you understand how results are created and support you in getting moving with that. My name is Felicia Searcy, and it is my joy to be your partner in believing. I have had the honor of helping thousands of people around the world create lives that they love. And right now, I get to be your partner in believing, as your dream is my passion. So I'm going to see who's here. I see, I can't see. Stacy. All right. And Severina. Good. And I saw Dora in there as well. So thrilled that you all are here. And again, play along, participate. Let me see if this is landing for you with likes or hearts. And again, if you want more information about my upcoming free training on how to create a life that you love, put the word transform in the comment section. We'll make sure we get that information to you. Okay, so it's, you've been there. There's this thing that's just gnawing at you. It keeps you up at night. You wonder if it's ever going to get any better. It's just that grinding worry. You find yourself up in the middle of the night, trying to figure it out. That there you are, trying to figure it out. Hey, Marianne, glad you're here. So what do you do? Hey, Lonnie. All right, well, so good. We got a really good crew in here. So I'm going to jump into this. So what do you do when it just, it's like the voices. It's, I call them the dogs. The dogs are just nipping and you're just grinding with something. Hey, Brian, wonderful that you are here. I'm talking about how to stop worrying. So the first thing I want to do is support you in understanding the anatomy of worry. What is worry exactly when you think about it? So let's say, bring something to mind right now that you have found yourself worrying about, whether or not it's, many of you are growing remarkable businesses. How do I grow my business? How do I keep my clients happy? How do I generate more money? How do I have a love relationship when I can't even find room on my calendar? How do I not worry about my health? Whatever it is, bring it to mind right now. Now, we're not going to hang out there. I just, I want to support you in knowing what to do when this gets triggered. Because it's not a matter of if, it's probably a matter of when. So bring something to mind right now. And if you're really bold and courageous, put a topic in the comment section around what is it that you worry about. And if not, I completely yes, Marianne, so hang with me, Marianne. It is inherently not being in the present. So the anatomy of worry is this, that when you're worrying, you are looking at facts and exactly what Marianne said, and you are forecasting a particular outcome. And that outcome is you're typically forecasting that outcome based on what things have either happened to you in the past or what have happened to other people. Now, we are biologically wired at our current level of evolution. Most people to go with the worst case scenario. It's like it literally moves you into the reflexive part of your brain. Because if you can think about the worst case scenario, if you are able to think about the worst case scenario, then it's like, then you can guard yourself against all possible scenarios that you can start ticking away. All right, if that happens, then I've got this plan. If that happens, I have this plan. And when people say, I just have to figure it out, that's usually where they're going. Where they're going is, how do I protect myself from the worst case scenario? And it's understanding that in that moment, you are taking this remarkable faculty called our imagination, and you are literally sending it out ahead of you. You are broadcasting that expectation to the universe. Now, what's so remarkable about this is that we live in a field of infinite possibilities, infinite possibilities. Any possibility is here at our fingertips. Now, it's one thing to understand that conceptually, and it's a whole nother thing to really begin to work with what I consistently teach about how we create our results, which means being willing to stop, quote, the figuring in the moment and begin to entertain something differently. Faith and fear are basically the same thing. You are effectively putting stock in a potential future that you can't see, that it hasn't happened yet. So you're going to either put stock in fear, you're going to expect something from a place of fear, or you're going to put stock in something that enlivens you, that what we call faith. And the deal is, you're putting stock in something that you can't see, that hasn't happened yet. So first of all, it's understanding that there is an anatomy to worry. I love there's a great story about Michael Beckwith, Reverend Michael Beckwith. He's the minister at Agape International Center in Culver City, California. And there's a story about a woman. They do a major conference every year called Revelations, and it's usually in April. So in January, this woman goes up to Reverend Michael and says, "Oh, Reverend Michael, I've always wanted to go to Revelations, but I've just never been able to afford it. And I know this year, I just can't see my way to afford it. Do you have scholarships? Can I volunteer? Is there any way that I can go?" And Michael Beckwith, yes, Brian, me too. You're going to love this. Michael Beckwith literally put his hand on her shoulder and piercingly looked into her eyes. And I want you to feel me doing that with you right now, putting my hand on your shoulder and piercingly looking you in the eyes. And he said to her, "So are you telling me that you, as a divine daughter of the universe, are planning in January to be poor in April?" And then he said, "I think you better come up with a different plan." I love that because it so describes what the anatomy of worry is, that we are effectively taking this remarkable imagination, this remarkable gift of our imagination, and we are the only species on the planet that has the capacity to consciously choose images, and we are allowing whatever is happening out here to then form these internal images. Now, why this is so important is because whatever you are mentally rehearsing becomes the container in which you then entertain ideas, and it becomes the direction. It becomes the propelling direction. It becomes the guide. It informs your decisions and your actions. And so if your brain is frozen with images of worst case scenarios, then the only thing you can do is entertain ideas that match those images and take actions accordingly. All right, so what do? How do you change that? So first of all, if you love that awareness, it's like, wow, I'm in this moment projecting my future. I am telling the universe what I expect through worry. And also to realize that you have the power in any given moment to change that. Drop a love it, oh my gosh, I see this, I'm changing it now in the comment section. Thumbs up, hearts, share, whatever is a way to indicate that this is really landing for you. And if you want more information about how to go deeper into this formula, put the word transform in the comment section, and my team will get information to you about a free upcoming masterclass that I have. All right, so here's what you do when you notice yourself worrying. Number one, and I'm going to look at my notes over here to make sure that I really bring you everything that I planned out for yourself today. With everything that I planned for you today. Number one, it all comes back to vision. Everything I teach, every time you hear me speak, I will always invite you back to what is your vision? What is your intentional vision? Because again, we're always imaginally seeing something. Your worry is your definition of your vision in that moment. If you're worrying about something, in that moment, you have claimed that as your vision. Because again, that's what you're projecting into the future. That's effectively what you're saying, what you expect. That this is what I expect. Our vision is our expectation. And right now, certain conditions are the way they, your facts are the way your facts are. And you have an expectation with those facts. Your expectation, whether you are aware of it or not, is your vision. So ask yourself, do I like this vision? Do I like the way I'm projecting into the future? Do I like the worry image that I am then effectively broadcasting to this invisible my intelligence? I'm going to safely say probably not, because if you're feeling all contracted and angst and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to quote figure it out, it's probably not life-giving and fun and joyous and fulfilling. So number one, to change this, so here's the second method. So number one is to understand the anatomy of worry. And then number two, the second piece of this is to really begin to use this remarkable faculty called our imagination to begin to weave an image of what you would love. Now, when I work with folks, I work with them to create more of a global is the wrong word, a full spectrum vision that addresses every area of your life. And when you have particular facts or situations or circumstances that you find yourself worrying about, create a specific image of what you would love to see in that situation or circumstance in the face of not knowing how to do it. And that's the rub. The rub is most people will look at their facts and conditions and they'll create images within that same container. The problem with that, the challenge with that, is that the only thing your world can do is reflect back your highest level of awareness and consent for what you have said yes to up to this moment. So it can be, well, I'm going to take the qualifier off. It's a master move. It's a master move to really allow yourself to imagine from a place, and I'm going to talk about like the sub-step in this, from a place of deep gratitude and fulfillment, to really think about what would I love for this to transform into? What would I love to see in this situation? If all things truly were possible, what would I love to expect in this situation? And you begin to work with those images. You begin to allow yourself to paint and illustrate and design images that, as you think about your life in general, and you think about this particular situation, your whole system lights up. Again, you're going to see something because none of it's played out yet. Worry is a suggestion that none of it's really played out. Now, that's not to say that there may not be some facts that look like they're going in that direction, But in any given moment, you get to change the trajectory, because it's just simply the trajectory of where your thought pattern has, the direction your thought pattern's been going in up until that point. So begin to work with a vision. What would I love? What would I love my life in general? And what would I love in this particular situation? And, I know I've been talking about my masterclass, and for those of you who want a really deep dive, I've got my 3-day event coming up April 13th, 14th, and 15th, where we're really going to go deep into this process. And, private message me or send a message if you want information about that. But so vision, what would I love for this to be? And you courageously and boldly allow yourself to entertain possibilities that you literally feel the energy in your body expand. The second part of that step is that once you have the vision, then you're working with generating the feelings as if that were already in place. These are our two superpowers: your ability to consciously generate images that are dependent, that you're choosing and that are not being influenced by outside facts, is superpower number one. Superpower number two is your capacity to consciously generate feelings that match this desired outcome. Why this is so important is because this then literally puts you in touch with a whole new level of creativity, of intelligence, and it taps you into the stream of intelligence. The other thing it does, going back to what Marianne was talking about, the other thing, as you're generating feelings, is that it causes you're generating feelings of gratitude, fulfillment, asking the question, if this all worked out, how would I feel? I would feel so grateful. I would feel abundant. I would feel empowered. I would feel bold. And then consciously choosing to generate those feelings now. The power of doing this, and here's, breaking down the step of understanding conceptually that worry means that you're not in the present. As you're working with this process, what it does is that it literally allows you to rewire your relationship with your current facts and conditions. You're able to see them differently. You're able to see them from a different perspective. You're able to see the good that's present. You're able to engage with the good that's present. The other thing that you're doing is that you're literally changing your worry habit. We all have a habit around worry, and it can feel so real when there are facts and conditions that are telling you potentially that you should be worried. Do you ever hear people say to you, people say to me, not very often, they don't say this to me very often anymore, but people, I hear people say, well, you shouldn't be worried. Why should I be worried? Number one, I know that I can change this on a dime, and the only thing worry does is perpetuate worry. So how about not worry? Let's not worry. And so you've got an image, you're generating the feelings, and you are consciously being present with your facts from a whole new perspective. It's learning how to put a comma on the fact, knowing that this fact is in the process of transformation rather than putting a period and freezing those facts. All right, so number one, understand the anatomy of worry. Number two, begin to really work with a vision that you love, because worry is a vision unto itself. Again, you have a vision. If you're worrying, you have a vision. That's your vision. That's what you're projecting into the future. That's what you're telling the universe that you expect. And that's what's generating the feelings. So begin to consciously create a vision that brings you alive, that you would love. Then number three, and this is a process that I learned from my mentor, Mary Morrissey. Make a date with your doubt. So here's what this looks like. So you have facts or conditions, or you're consciously choosing to create something so much more alive and dynamic in the form of saying yes to your dream. And all of the scenarios of what can go wrong start waking up and talking, and wanting to give you good, solid reasons why not to go forward. Nevertheless, you have caused yourself, you have supported yourself in creating scenario that absolutely lights you up. So here's what you do in order to maintain your energy in that scenario and not get pulled away by the worry and the doubt, is that you make a date with your doubt. And here's what that looks like. You physically put a time on your calendar. Now, if those voices are really talking for a while, you may want to do it on a daily basis. I typically do it once a week, but you physically, when I need to, and a lot of times I don't even need to do this anymore, but that you physically put the date on your calendar. So let's say today's Tuesday. Let's say Wednesday at noon. Wednesday at noon, you put date with doubt. Now, you want to keep that date. So if the worry starts wanting to get your attention, once you put that date on your calendar, you're able to look at the worry and say, you know what? I'll talk to you tomorrow at noon. I'm going to talk to you at Wednesday at noon. And you are maintaining your focus on your vision and consciously asking, if I really believed this were happening, how would I be feeling between the time you put the date on the calendar and when you physically keep that date? So Wednesday at noon rolls around. You want to keep that date. So here's how you keep your date. Wednesday at noon, you sit down with your doubt and you have your journal. You have a pad of paper and you say, all right, doubt, let it rip, let it pour. And you're writing down everything your doubt is wanting to tell you, everything your worry is wanting to tell you. Now, here's why I'm separating this out, almost like giving it a different identity, because it's really important to understand that it's just a part of you that's worried. It's not all of you, and it's not the essential you. It's that part that has been habituated, that has been trained into thinking that worry is a good thing. And so this is what it looks like to retrain it. And I can tell you, it really is possible to retrain this part of you. So you're sitting down and you're letting this part of you talk. You're letting this part of you just pour out everything that it has to say about the worst things that could go wrong if you either don't get this thing fixed or you keep going in this direction. Let it just pour it all out. And when your worry has exhausted itself, not you, not your essential you, but your worry has exhausted itself, you then go back and ask these 3 questions. Looking at your list, question number 1, is this happening right now? My worst fears, my worst worries, are they happening right now? And I can look at the list of people on that are watching this, and I have a sense of the people who are coming back to watch the broadcast. And I would say 99.99% of the time, your worst fears, you're not living under a bridge, you're not dead. Your worst fears are probably not coming true in the moment. All right, here's the second question to ask, and this is step 3. Here's the second question to ask, and we're going to go deeper into this in method 4. Second question to ask is, if my worst fears were to come true, would my God and I be able to handle it? And you want to stay there until you have a solid yes. You have a solid yes. And if you're not able to really get to a solid yes, stand in my belief. See me looking you in the eye and saying, absolutely, you and your God can handle whatever life throws at you. I know that with every fiber of my body about you. So, number 1, Is my worst fear happening? No. Number 2, if my worst fear happens, will my God and I be able to handle it? Yes. It's like, okay, it's not happening right now. I know I can handle it. So with that being the case, then you consciously cause yourself to bring your attention back to what brings you most alive. It's like, okay, if this happens, I hear you, and that fear is going to want to, that worry is going to want to pop. I hear you, but it's not happening right now. And I certainly don't want to give any energy to it. And if it should happen, I know deep down with every fiber of my being, my God and I will be able to handle it. You know what can be really helpful with that as well is to go back in past scenarios and see how there was something moving you through some of those really challenging times, and you came through it. You came through it. Now imagine how much more expansive your experience would be if you came through it with an even greater degree of awareness and intentionality. And don't imagine that for too long, because you want to shift your attention to something that's a whole lot more fun and life-giving. It's like, it's not happening right now. I know my God and I can handle it. So I appreciate the information, doubt. I appreciate your concern, worry. And I know there's something so much bigger at work in my life. And in this moment, I'm going to choose to trust what I know about the power of vision, when I know about the power of the life force moving through me, when I know about the power of these laws, then in this moment, I'm going to choose to put my faith in that and keep my feet moving forward, because you want to ground this whole process in an action step. So it's not happening right now. I know my God and I can handle it. So let me bring my attention back to something that's a whole lot more fun and interesting, which is my vision. And let me now ground this in an action step. And so you physically get up and go take an action step, because there's nothing, that power of physically moving your feet is just a remarkable antidote to worry. All right, then method number 4, you continue to deepen your awareness of how our results are created and your relationship with the stream of life that woke you up this morning. You didn't wake yourself up this morning. You can't even take one breath on your own. Something so magnificent wove you into existence. And when we are able to open to the awareness of just how loved and cherished and divinely appointed you are, to know who you are and what walks with you, and be able to relax more into that awareness, that powerfully melts away worry. All right, so there's the step 4. So if this is resonating with you, drop some hearts, share this, like it, ground date with doubt, to say that, yep, I'm gonna experiment with that, with making a date with doubt. And if you want to go deeper into this, I've got a masterclass coming up, free training, where we're going to go deep into this formula, put the word transform into the comment section. All right, so we're going to bring this into the close. So summarize. You find yourself just, your brain is frozen with worry. You just can't get yourself out of that cycle of just, quote, trying to figure it out. What do? Number 1, understand the anatomy of worry. That effectively what you're doing is picking one possibility out of a field of infinite possibility and saying, this is what is going to happen. Number 2, that you begin to work with a vision that brings you most alive. And in that, you're generating the feelings that are a match for it, understanding that these are your 2 superpowers. Sin, it is so good to see you. Number 3, you make a date with your doubt. Sin knows this. Sin, Hannah, is a brilliant teacher, and Sin is brilliant at doing this as my peer and colleague, and we're in the same community with our mentor. And then number 4, and again, I can look at the list of the people on here, that you stay. It's number 3 is make a date with your doubt. And then number 4, you stay committed, deepening your understanding of how Our results are created, and deepening your relationship with the stream of life that put you here with the promise that you are fully supplied, fully sourced, and oh my gosh, loved beyond measure. All right, so let me go down and, oh good, Charmaine, I hope this serves you, that you will re-listen to this. Seeing some of the comments down here. Yes, and Charmaine, the connection between faith and fear, it's both projecting an image into the future because it's not happening right now. So, all right, so if you've appreciated this, again, drop comments, whether you're here live or watching the replay. Share it with folks that you know worry. And once more, if you want to go deeper into this formula, put the word transform and we'll get information about my upcoming free masterclass on how to create a life that you love. We'll get you that information. All right, big breath, everybody. I just adore you all. It just takes such courage to really get into this. And just know that I deeply love and appreciate the courage and the commitment. Thank you, Brian. It would be my honor to serve your wife with this material. And I hope it serves her. It's just, you all are such remarkable beings. And I stand here knowing that everything that you desire is yours simply by the asking and the being. And it is my joy to be your partner in believing. My name is Felicia Searcy, and your dream is my passion. Oh, thank you, Brian. All right. God bless everybody.